Okay, so today I'm going to do my first food review in a while. I used to do these. It's kind of fun. It's just like a free-form thing. Whenever I go somewhere and get something that I'm normally going to eat anyway, and I'm like, oh, hey, I want to try something different, whether it be a drink or some dessert item or just a different dish altogether, right? We get this sort of free-form, because it's not the sort of thing you would do like in the restaurant. Then that feels weird or awkward. Like here, okay, I'm doing it in my car, so I can do whatever I want, and I can really immerse myself and review it, right? And so it's something that it's very convenient because, again, it's not like I'm going out of my way to do this. So this is a pineapple Fanta. It actually said strawberry Fanta on the board, and that's when I went to order, but oh no, they didn't update the board, so it's actually pineapple. So I never tried the strawberry one, but that's fine. So it's a frozen pineapple Fanta, which I've never had before. I don't think I've really seen it before. It might be either totally new, or if it has been seasonally there, I just maybe have never tried it. And then the other thing is an apple pie, which I've seen a sign for a couple times, but I haven't tried it yet. So this is my first time doing both the apple pie, Burger King obviously, and the pineapple strawberry Fanta. And what's interesting to think is maybe some of these things are interchangeable. Like maybe this has been at some other store, maybe Popeyes has had the frozen strawberry Fanta. I don't know. Like, is it really exclusive or nobody's ever had it before? I feel like that might be true, but I'm not 100% sure. So let me show the receipt actually too, just for the pricing too, for what that's worth. It's a little blurry, but so the apple pie is $1.79 there. Right, I got the mozzarella fry meal, and I am actually quite hungry, so I'm going to eat that first and do the drink, and then we can do the apple pie last. So it's a mozzarella fry combo, which again, I always used to get the chicken fries, but then I had it a couple times in a row, and they were bad for some reason. And so then I switched over to this relatively new thing, I think, at least, the mozzarella fry. So 8-piece mozzarella fry combo. I don't really eat things with sauces, so they always give it, but I'm kind of a minimalist that way. I'll just eat it plain with no sauce. Then the halvesies is interesting, too, because I've never done that before. In fact, I would normally typically get, I don't know if that's a new thing they started doing or I just noticed it, but I normally would get a fry and an onion ring if I wanted both, or obviously pick one or the other, but I would sort of do the halvesies manually. I would get like one fry and one onion ring separate, right, just to kind of simulate like, oh, I kind of want some of both. So that's kind of a cool thing. I don't know if that's new, but it would be my first time doing that as well. It's obviously not my first time getting the mozzarella fries, but whatever. Just that's kind of something I switched over from getting the chicken fries, which is unfortunate because those can be really good if they're cooked right. It's kind of what I say about KFC, is like KFC can be really, really good quality if they actually cook it properly, but they almost never do, right? Depending on the branch. I got like food poisoning from one of them one time, but in fact, it's actually the one right here, if I'm not mistaken, in a plaza, like down a little further from this one. But so yeah, the apple pie is $1.79. That wouldn't be affected by the combo price or anything like that. And obviously, you always get those at McDonald's, so they're almost trying to steal some of their thunder. Normally, I would think of the Hershey pie associated with Burger King. Obviously, Popeyes has a good apple pie. McDonald's has kind of a legendary one just because it's so, everybody's tried them, everybody's had them, from when they're younger. So, yeah, just a halvesies combination is an interesting thing that I haven't ordered it quite that way before. It's like if we were to rate the price efficiency of this, it's really not bad. I mean, you're getting a meal with, like a main course, kind of whether it be the chicken fries or it could be a sandwich or whatever, plus a side, the fries, onion rings, and plus a drink and plus a apple pie for $10. It's really not a bad ratio if you think about it, as much as, I don't know, like that's a decent quality proposition. I haven't normally looked at the receipts really like that, but if we actually analyze and think about it, I can't really complain about that. It's a decent proposition. So let me actually just eat, and we'll do the drink first, and then we'll do the apple pie at the end. The problem is this is at such a slant that it's kind of not the greatest to, but no, I enjoy this format because it's so like just random, but it's kind of organic. So again, we've obviously had their fries and onion rings before, and kind of many times. But the thing that happens actually that's worth noting is the fact that what's worth noting is the fact that one of my Chick-fil-A shakes when I was doing this spilled, so I got to be careful. Like there's really no better way to do this because of the camera angle that I want. But basically, the onion rings are quite legendary, right? They're very, very good. And the fries are actually better than McDonald's in the sense that they're kind of thicker, right, and fuller. Whereas the McDonald's ones are kind of soggy and just thin. So obviously I'm just eating that just because I'm hungry, but it's not like it's anything unique or special. But this is going to be, you got to be careful with how you say unique or special. There was I can't remember who it was, somebody hanging out with XQC who said it really fast and it sounded like he said something else. We're trying the strawberry Fanta, and there's something weird on the straw that, whatever, but it's not bad. It's got kind of a light flavor, not like overly sweet. Feels like it's maybe melted a little already, even though I just got it, but yeah, it's decent. I'm not crazy about it. It's got kind of the light pineapple flavor. Not super sugary, not super sweet, not super nuanced or distinct either, though. It's kind of just... it's good. I'm not crazy about it. I guess this will be a longer one because I'm not going to just do a fast review because I'll save the apple pie for the end, I guess, and by then it might be cold, but... it kind of just feels right to eat it at the end, although I'm not the type to always abide by that. I'll kind of just have things randomly, like have a dessert before the meal or something. But I don't know, like on a scale of like 1 to 5, I'd give it like a 3. It's good, it delivers on the flavor. But I'm expecting more subtlety. It's one of those that like the flavor hits you all at once, but it's not really right. Like there's a second part of it, maybe that the aftertaste or something else that you're seeking. That this is just kind of to the point, but I will give it credit that it's not like just pure sugar, right? It has some. I guess that in itself, just the fact that the flavor is lighter is a bit, subtle. And I guess it's just unique in and of itself that pineapple isn't really a flavor you typically see with with these frozen type drinks. I feel like it's usually something else. It's just a rare one, I guess. But yeah, this could take me actually a while to finish this. So maybe I should just, I didn't want to rush it, but, but yeah, the drink is decent. I'm trying to think how I can be more descriptive, really, because it's unique within the frozen context, at least. It's not something I've had really maybe ever before, right, in a frozen capacity. And then maybe in some alcoholic way, actually, but in terms of the actual flavor, again, it's solid, it's to the point. Not overly sweet, but also not overly nuanced. Okay, you know what? This is going to take me too long, so or I could just edit it out. But here's the apple pie. First time I've ever seen the box. First time I've ever gotten it. Obviously, first time I've gotten that pineapple Fanta thing, but it does say limited time too, but it's got these 2 little holes there to air it out maybe, but this will be a big comparison to, but I guess it's cinnamon as opposed to just apple, but in comparison to McDonald's, right? Like if this is better than McDonald's or on par, it'll probably be more like the Popeyes one, though, I feel like. with the whole cinnamon emphasis or whatever, like other flavor to it. But yeah, let me try this just so I don't have to be on here for an hour doing this while I finish I'm already kind of crumpling it up, but trying to do this all with one hand so you can see it. Yeah, that's kind of a big way to try to stick it to McDonald's for their iconic apple pie. So let's see what we got here. You might think, oh, that's a little hole that it has in there, but actually I just did that myself with how rough I was being, so it doesn't actually have that. Yeah, it kind of looks a little bit like the Popeyes one, I feel like. Because it has the little, cinnamon and sugar on it that kind of makes a mess in a way, too. Kind of falls all over the place. So yeah, it is actually pretty good. Again, it tastes more like the Popeyes one than the McDonald's one, which that's more like just a straight up kind of softer texture, first of all. Not as crunchy. So this is crunchier, kind of like the Popeyes one, and it's also got like those cinnamon and sugary kind of bits on it that, again, can be a little messy. And it's also got again, it's kind of crunchier than McDonald's. It's got the cinnamon thing to it. Yeah, it's pretty good. I give it a 4, kind of like what I would give Popeyes. Maybe McDonald's would get the 5, or maybe that's somewhat nostalgia or, right, just the notoriety and how familiar you are with it. But in fact, let's have a higher standard, because we can't just give fast food pies the best. So give the McDonald's one a 4, which is still iconic and exemplary, and then give this and the Popeyes one like a 3. But you almost wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? It's very, very similar to that. The shape of that one's a little different, the Popeyes, but it's got the crunchiness, right? Kind of harder texture than the McDonald's. And it's got the nice, cinnamon bits and all that. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's better than it, but it's very, very comparable, very good, and it's like a different style. Like I say, I can't stop comparing it to the Popeyes one because that is very similar. So yeah, the overall experience, again, the Fanta was good, not super nuanced, not super, special, but it's good. This was also good, again, satisfactory. Give McDonald's a little run for their money, not better, but it's a nice thing for them to have. It says limited time on the sign for now, but they always say that, but if it does well, they'll probably keep it. So it's good. They're both satisfactory, right? I give them both 3 out of 5 stars. But again, that star rating system, you got to realize, is pretty harsh, because 5 would mean it's like some gourmet. It's always relative to price too. Like, okay, for $2 for the pie and whatever, $3 for the drink, or not even really, because it comes with the meal. But like relative to that, because like I was saying the same thing with Chick-fil-A and KFC, right? Like, oh, Chick-fil-A is better than KFC, but it's not really better, because it's so much more expensive, right? I get one meal, like a 4-piece tenders, for like $20. If I get like the drink and the side or whatever, it's almost $20, or sometimes more, depending on, because I'll get like a large side or something. So that's $20 for like basically a single meal. Maybe a meal you could share 2 people. But KFC for $20, I can get a full bucket with a 6-piece and like 4 biscuits and 4 sides, and like that's like a whole family meal, or it'll last me like the whole day, right into the next day, and it's like crazy. One thing this is messy, kind of like the Popeyes one, in a way that McDonald's isn't like that. It doesn't have like the little sprinkles and stuff on it as much. And the texture of this one, again, is kind of more crunchy, and it kind of falls apart. So Yeah, they're both satisfactory, 3-star, good. The pineapple, I guess, is a bit more unique. This, again, could put it side by side with the Popeyes one. You can barely tell the difference. If I was them, I maybe would have made it more like the McDonald's one to try to really stick it to them. But they're trying to maybe distinguish themselves and feel different. Right, so now McDonald's got to stick it back to them and get like some sort of Hershey pie equivalent or something. Right, some sort of chocolate pie. Yeah, that was good. That was satisfactory. They're different. They're interesting. They might both be limited time, so if you see this later, this might be a relic of something you can't even get anymore, because that can always be annoying. But yeah, I'm satisfied with it. Both 3 stars, both decent. The pineapple maybe gets a little extra credit just for being a little bit different. It's not the sort of flavor that I always associate with being right, like in a frozen form or something like this. Right, pineapple would typically be more with like a juice or, like a solid drink like that. Whereas frozen stuff can sometimes be a little out there. Other kind of weird flavors. You think of cherry, you think of, whatever, cotton candy or blue raspberry or even just like the Coke kind. But yeah, I haven't done one of these in a while, but it's a very organic form of content, right? It's the kind of thing you can't say, like, oh, look, you're doing this for content. No, I'm doing this because I was going to eat this anyway, because I was hungry. I barely ate anything for breakfast. I'm kind of starving. I had, like, half a bowl of cereal. That was it. So, like, right, I was hungry. I was going to get this anyway. And I figured, okay, if I'm going to get this, I see something different. Right, I see the pineapple thing or strawberry I thought it was going to be. And then I got baited and it's actually pineapple. Which is probably more interesting, actually, because strawberry, again, is a much more common flavor. And then I also see the apple pie, which I think I've seen reference to that before. But I just kind of forgot about it and I never tried it. That's like the way the companies work when they just have money to blow. So like, oh, why not do this? Why not make something, little gimmicks and stupid things. But yeah, it could be very organic, like anytime I get something new, something different I've never tried before. Or even if it's not something, even if it is something I've had before, I could give it a proper review. Right, and really try to leave my stamp on it. Like, oh, it's something I've had 100 times, but let me try to really give it a proper... But no, this is kind of better when it's like a first-time thing that you're trying. And so, yeah, generally, that was kind of like the average experience, right? That's what you expect from fast food, where, it's good, it's satisfactory, it's to the point, but it's nothing, like, mind-blowing. And the same thing is true, like, with... But, yeah, basically what I was saying with the KFC point, right, to understand, like, a rating is, like, you could say, Chick-fil-A is, like, a 4 out of 5, and KFC is, like, a 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5. But... you can't compare them directly because it's all price relative, right? So for $20, you get like a whole family meal, or that'll last you like a couple of meals or a whole day from KFC. For $20, you get from Chick-fil-A like one meal basically, or one meal maybe for 2 at best. So if you were to compare them directly and say, oh, Chick-fil-A is better, well, it should be better though, right? It should be better because it costs more. So, right, in that sense, is it really better? And so it kind of evens out. So I'd consider them equal because one of them is cheaper and still decent quality. And again, it depends how it's prepared, really. Unfortunately, it varies a lot. Whereas Chick-fil-A is consistently prepared better, at least from my experience. Right, it doesn't depend as much on the branch or whatever. But they they're more expensive, so you have to take that into consideration, right? So if you say, oh, it's better chicken or better food, my expectation is, yes, it should be better because it's not, right, it's not the same thing. Right, so the same thing would be true of like pizza places or something. If you were to say, you know, like Domino's versus Pizza Hut, I always find Pizza Hut's way better, especially in terms of their actual pizza itself. Right, the Domino's is kind of thin and soggy and whatever, very, very papery and unfulfilling. The only context in which you can compete is, yes, it's a bit cheaper, and sometimes way cheaper with some of their deals, but right, cheaper isn't better, but also better isn't better in a raw sense, because right, you do have to take costs into consideration instead of just saying, again, like, oh, I can't remember what I rated them actually when I was discussing that, but like Chick-fil-A, oh, it's a 4 out of 5. It's not a 5 because, oh, it's so expensive or something, right? Relative to whatever. So if you were to give stars, you got to knock off a point for cost. And then if you were to give KFC a score, you'd have to give it an extra point, make it a 3-star instead of like a 2, because you have the cost is cheaper, right? And you can get great value from it. You have to take that all into consideration when you're rating it. But sometimes that's how people would think. They want to compare it in a raw sense, like how good is it, period. Not how good is it relative to a cost or other factors. How big is the menu? Yeah, I may as well record the whole thing. Maybe I won't upload it, but it doesn't matter. These are just kind of fun little things. But I am intrigued by this. I wasn't doing it for a while because there just wasn't anything new, I guess, that I was trying. Or I even did that fortune cookie wisdom thing where I say you should deliberately try to get something different every time, too. Like if I get Chinese food, I'll try a different dish. So I tried that one that kind of tricked me, chow mein or whatever, and it was like a green, mucky thing that I thought it was something else. Right, so you go out of your comfort zone, you try something different. And so what's funny with this kind of thing that I would almost mock this sort of thing to do, but then what almost makes you want to do it is like how low people's standards are. But this is the kind of thing people would value. People do like this kind of thing. Right, if you're a big enough celebrity or whatever creator, right, people would like it. It has more to do with cult of personality than the actual thing that you're doing. And you can say, oh, like it's narcissistic, like who wants to see this and who cares about this? And you're right, I agree. But everything is too, right? Like social interaction on a day-to-day basis. That's kind of like who really cares about your day or who really wants to hear about these mundane things that you do. So everything that people do is kind of egotistical. Social interaction, you're kind of insisting upon your own experience and yourself, or like writing in a diary, or taking photos, or like everything people do is somewhat like that. So sometimes people pick on social media a bit, right, and they say, right, like that somehow a bad thing, or attention seeking was kind of like it's the same sort of thing you'd be doing anyway. So if it's worth doing, why not put a stamp on it? Or again, it's the kind of thing that people would value or do value, kind of lowest common denominator stuff. So what's relevant is the fact that, right, it's like everything you do is kind of narcissistic. So people get uncomfortable when they are made to be self-aware. Like, oh, this couple's making a video, and then they, like, I've seen this clip, right? this couple's on vacation and they're acting all smiley and happy in front of the camera, and then somebody else is watching them from a distance, recording them, and then they look unhappy when it ends, or they go back to normal. You might think, oh, that means it's fake, but it's kind of like everything is fake. So, right, you're different at work as you are at school, as you are at home. So obviously, if you're recording a video, you're going to try to play it up a little more, right? Unless you're going to be like me and you're just always the same monotone kind of thing. But that doesn't mean it's fake. It's like, that just shows you people fear self-awareness. Like, you can't just, you could do the same exact thing and it's fine, but you're almost embarrassed of it, or you just kind of, whatever, you treat it for what it is. But then if somebody records it or makes you aware of it, makes a spectacle out of it, now that same exact thing is bad or cringe. So cringe is nothing more than self-awareness. Right, so like if Gordon Ramsay can be popular, anybody, like, it's the same process. Like, oh, look, I'm reviewing food. It doesn't have to be the same content, but right, either you value the process or you don't. But the process will be picked on, like, oh, look at this person recording something, right? As if the act of doing that is dumb, but it's like a preconceived basis, right? Oh, if they were some established celebrity, now it becomes validated because, oh, their expertise or something. But the nature of the process is the same, right? If it's a stupid thing to do, then it's stupid, period. And if it's not, then it depends on what the quality of what you're observing. So, yeah, this was satisfactory, I guess. But yeah, it's like a philosophy of being emboldened by the mediocrity of others, or by the stupid things that people value. Like, oh, would I do this if I didn't know that people do dumb stuff like this all the time? And that's the kind of thing people value. I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain, but just remember, like, everything you do is kind of narcissistic when you're having a conversation about your day, or you're kind of talking about random stuff. Social interaction is kind of narcissistic because you're kind of insisting upon yourself. You're kind of, right, talking about your mundane experience as though it's something more. So it's okay if you do it on an individual basis, but if you do it on a mass scale, now you make people aware of it. Right? Self-awareness is cringe or the enemy, when really it's the same process that you're doing. So either it's a good thing to do or it's not.